right, this is Chapter 6, Lesson 5, more two-step equations. So last time we were solving two-step equations. Now we're actually going to be dealing a lot with more rational coefficients, which is something we learned about in Lesson 3. So again, we're still dealing with two-step equations. You're still doing reverse operations, all of that. Okay? So when I'm dealing with two-step equations, so for example, Toya had her birthday party at the movies. It cost $27 for pizza and $8.50 per friend for the movie tickets. Okay, so per friend, so each person that came with her cost $8.50. They each had to buy a ticket. Okay? How many friends did Toya have at her party if he spent $78? Okay? So let n represent the number of friends. Doesn't have to be n, can be any variable that you'd like. Just n for right now. Okay? So $27 was the cost of the pizza. That was cut and dry. That's what it was. Okay? And then it was $8.50 per friend for the movie ticket. So 27 plus 850 n. So 27 plus 850 n equals 78. All right? So from here, I'm going to subtract 27 from both sides because remember we're doing order of operations in reverse order. Okay? So opposite of doing multiplication division first is doing addition subtraction first. Okay? So I subtract 27 from both sides, and then I have 850n equals 51. Then I divide both sides by $8.50 because that's the variable, that's the coefficient that is attached to my variable. And so $8.50, 51 divided by 850 gives me 6. So that means she had 6 friends at her party. Okay. The next one I have is solve 0.2 times the quantity c minus 3. Okay, so up to this point, we've been using reverse operations in reverse order from Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. Okay, this only applies when you don't have parentheses. You still do parentheses first, but instead of doing what's on the inside of parentheses first, you do what's on the outside. So in this case, I have 0.2 times 6 minus 3. So I need to divide both sides by 0.2 first, because that's on the outside of my parentheses. Okay? So normally you would do what's on the inside because we're solving for something, you're going to do what's on the outside. Okay? So I divide by 0.2 from both sides. Negative 10 divided by 0.2 is negative 50. Then I have c minus 3. In order to get c by itself, I have to add 3 to both sides. So negative 50 plus 3 is negative 47. Of course, you could substitute this right back in, negative 47 for c, and you will get negative 10. Okay, the next one I have is 3 times the quantity x plus 5 equals 45. Again, I have parentheses, so I need to do those first, but I need to do what's on the outside, okay? That equal sign means I have to reverse everything, all right? So I divide 3 from both sides first. I get x plus 5, and 45 divided by 3 gives me 15. X plus 5 equals 15. Now I need to subtract 5 from both sides. So 15 minus 5 equals 10. So my solution is 10. Again, I can substitute this back in. 10 plus 5 is 15 times 3 gives me 45. Next I have solve 2/3 times the quantity n plus 6. Again, I have parentheses, so I need to do what's on the outside first, which is multiplication. Opposite of multiplication is division. But remember, when we're dividing fractions, we're multiplying by the reciprocal. We learned that back in lesson 3. Okay? So 2/3 times 3/2, then multiplied by the reciprocal. 10 times 3/2 gives me 15. I'm left with n plus 6 on the left side of my equation. So n plus 6 equals 15. I subtract 6 from both sides. N equals 9. So the solution is 9. All right, there are a couple of try it problems out below. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've had a chance to try out the try it problems, let's go over the answers together. So the first one I have is solving 3 times the quantity b minus 6 equals 12. Okay, so I have parentheses, which means I need to do what's the opposite of the parentheses, so the opposite of the outside parentheses. So I need to divide both sides by 3. This cancels. I'm left with b minus 6. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Okay. Now I need to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So I add 6 to both sides. So I'm left with b, 4 plus 6 is 10. So b equals 10. All right, so number 2 says t plus 3 times 5/9 equals 40. So again, I need to divide both sides by 5/9. Okay, when I do this, this cancels. I'm left with t plus 3 equals 40 over 1 divided by 5/9, so I keep, change, flip. Okay, so I keep, change, flip. I can cross cancel. So t plus 3 is 8 times 9, which gives me 72. Then I subtract both sides by 3. 72 minus 3 is 69. So t equals 69. Okay. The third problem I have, 1/4 times the quantity d minus 3 equals negative 15. So again, I have parentheses. I need to do what's on the outside first. So this is multiplication. I need to do the opposite, which is division. So I divide both sides by 1/4. This cancels. I'm left with d minus 3. Negative 15 over 1 divided by 1/4. I keep my first, change my division to a multiplication. I flip my second fraction. Negative 15 times 4 is 60, negative 60. Okay. Then I add 3 to both sides. So negative 60 plus 3 gives me negative 57. Okay. My fourth one says 2x plus 4 equals 10. This one doesn't have parentheses in it, so I don't have to worry about that. So I need to do reverse operations. So subtractions first. I subtract 4 from both sides. This cancels. 10 minus 4 is 6, and then I divide by 2. So this cancels. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay. Number 5 says negative 2 plus 2/3 w equals 10. So no parentheses, so I add 2 to both sides because that's what's not attached to the w. This cancels. I have 2/3 w equals 12. Then I need to divide both sides by 2/3. So w equals 12 over 1 divided by 2/3. So I keep, change, flip. 2 cancels. With the 12 becomes a 6. 6 times 3 is 18, so w equals 18. Number 6, 5 equals 2 plus 3x. No parentheses, so I subtract first. Subtract 2 from both sides. 5 minus 2 is 3. So 3 equals 3x. I divide both sides by 3. So x equals 1. And that is the end of Chapter 6, Lesson 5.